classic scene from Batman Begins. Hey, you got bats? Forget about Gotham City. Try the state of Indiana. Seriously. Our next two guests have made a living clearing out bats in the Belfry and bats in your house. They call themselves the Awesome Critter Getters. Quentin Sheffield, Brian Minicle, live with us today in Northern Indiana. Good morning, guys. There you are. I see you now. Welcome to one of the only news programs brave enough to put you guys on TV. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good today.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Now, which
doing
one?
real good.
Which
Thank
one's Quentin? Quentin, raise your hand.
I'm Quentin.
Quentin, now I understand business is booming this time of year.
Oh, yeah.
Why is that?
Well, right now all the baby bats are being born, so everybody's starting to find all the bats, and they call us to get them out.
Yeah, and where do you get? You go into people's homes or where, Quentin?
Yeah, every house is different. Sometimes they're actually in the living conditions, and sometimes they're actually up in the attic. So.
Now, Brian, I understand one time you guys removed 150 bats from one home. You making that up?
No, that's true.
What did that house look like?
The house actually was really nice, but you know, we had to catch the bats because one of them had rabies and landed on a guy's face when he was sleeping in the middle of the night. So we had to actually catch them all in cages and euthanize them because, you know, we can't let bats with, you know, possible rabies, you know, out into the community.
That's the serious part of this story too, because they carry rabies, and you know, it can be dangerous, and sometimes it can be deadly, can't it, Brian?
Yeah, if you know, don't know that you have it, you know, if a bat lands on you and you don't know if it bit you, you know, if you get rabies, you know, and you don't know and don't get a rabies shot, you know, it's not going to be good for you. You know, you're going to be dead in a couple of days.
Wow. Listen, I found out some things about bats that I never knew. Brian, Quentin, you guys ready for this? Their claws are so fine and so thin that you never even know what's on your face. I mean, you can sleep through the night with a bat sitting on your face the whole time. You can be scratched or bit and not know it. And the saliva of the bat, that's the tricky part. Quentin, what are you advising people if you've got bats in your house?
If you have bats in your house, number one thing is, if you're unaware of it, don't know if they actually touched anybody in your house, call us. We'll come out there and get the bat. We'll take it in. We don't crush the skull, though. You got to take it in and get the rabies tested.
Oh, my.
So that's the only way they can test the rabies is through the skull.
Is that so? No other part of the bat?
Nope. Just through the skull only, up in the brain.
Who knew? Listen, you guys don't just take care of bats, though. I mean, you fight the squirrels and the woodchucks and the skunks. I mean, we're the only show brave enough to put the Roadnator on the air. We did that a couple months ago from the state of Idaho. Guys?
Yeah.
How in the world did you get involved in this business?
I've been trapping and hunting and fishing since I was a little kid, and whenever any relatives had a problem with animals, they always called us, so that's where we went from there.
The Critter Getters.
Advertising.
Love the name. Gentlemen, good luck. This is the time of year in Indiana. Who knew? Thank you, Quentin. Thank you, Brian.
Yep.
Well done,
Thank you.
My stepsister Liza had a bat in her house,
guys, by the way.
and she called the exterminator, and he was hot, and she kind of didn't want him to succeed in the first try. You know
I see. Well,
come on back for another visit. Yeah.
I'll pick up the phone again.
He eventually got his bat.